It's Dirty Laundry Media on the check-in. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and smash that like button for me, would you? Thank you. What's going on, Dirty Laundry family? This is Bill Money back in the building. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Hope this video finds you in the best of health and spirits on this Thursday, May 27th, 2021. I wanted to get back in really quickly with another video to follow up on my last upload, in which I asked the question whether it is time to get Charlamagne the God up out of the paint. And I played a clip of a previous podcast in which Charlamagne the God was a host. I'm going to play that clip again because in this clip again, I want to emphasize the fact that Charlamagne the God is vividly describing a scenario that sounds a lot like date rape. It sounds like there may have been more than one participant as far as male sexual participants. We know that Charlamagne, one, supplied alcohol. Number two, he supplied Spanish fly. Number three, we do know the young lady eventually, as Charlamagne stated, was wasted. He said he proceeded to have sex with her. The next day they woke up. They discussed it, supposedly. She asked what happened. He said that we had sex. She allegedly says she's glad it's him, so forth and so on. There was a rumor that his cousin might have also slept with the lady or the young lady, which Charlamagne denies. But again, the whole scenario sounds very slimy. And I want to actually direct this inquiry to any legal professionals, lawyers, attorneys, anybody who might work in the legal field, because I really want to ask the question whether or not Charlamagne the God's own words could be used against him in this case. If there was to be an actual victim, I'm sure this person, he described that this was an actual incident. This person would remember. I'm sure Charlamagne remembers. I'm sure his cousin remembers the way in which he described that incident with such detail. So check out the audio once again. I'm going to play that again. It's a couple of minutes long. Then I'll come back on the other side with my commentary.
I remember a scenario in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I got this girl real drunk, and
that sentence sounds a little fishy. I got her drunk.
I didn't just get her drunk. I remember I went to the sex store and got Spanish fly.
Oh, so you raped her?
Shut up. Spanish fly. They sell it in the sex store. I'm telling the truth. They spell it in the Spanish store. I had to fucking.
They sell knives in the store too. You could put that to a girl's throat and have sex with her. That doesn't mean it's legal.
So I put the Spanish fly in the E&J. We drinking the E&J and shit. So in my mind, I don't know if this shit really worked, but I felt like I got horny as a motherfucker too. Right? So she was drunk as shit, and we had sex and shit, and like a lot of my boys was trying to come in the room and fuck her. I'm like, nah, chill out. I can't. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna let you run a train on it. That's rape.
Yeah.
Okay. So, right. So
if it's just one-on-one, it ain't rape.
Yeah. So the next
trains are rape.
So the next morning she wakes up. And we talk about it. And she's like, "What happened?"
Oh shit.
Like, we had sex. She said, "Okay, well, I'm glad it was you." Then a couple days later, she's like, "Yo, are you sure I only had sex with you?" One of my stupid ass cousins was going around saying he fucked her, which he didn't. I know for a fact he didn't. Okay. I was there the whole time. Yeah. He did not fuck her.
Yeah.
He looked at her naked, but he didn't fuck her. Right? So I'm telling her, no, me and you just had sex. Nobody else did nothing. So it just was weird that she was like, "Well, I'm just glad it was you." You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I'm like, yo, you could have been in a real bad situation if it was another motherfucker there.
That's a huge compliment, man. A girl just said, yo, at least you raped me.
I didn't rape her. I did not rape her.
Hey, if it was any of your cousins or friends, it would have been rape. But
I didn't rape her because me and her had every intention of having sex with each other.
So then why would you put the Spanish fly?
I'm still a freaky motherfucker, but listen,
was she passed out while you fucked her?
Nah, she wasn't like, she was like one of those drunks where, listen, no, she was one of those drunks where like, she was one of those drunks where she was like, she wasn't coherent, but she was up. You know when your girls is, like when you're blacked out, like that, don't know what the fuck's going on type shit. Like she was
awake and she was into it.
She was wasted. Yeah, she was.
Her eyes were not rolling in the back of her head.
Nah.
Okay. Was she snoring while you were?
It was just weird. It was just weird because while we was having sex, because one of my homeboys used to fuck her on the regular. Mm-hmm. Like when I say the regular, that was his girl. Like he hates me probably to this day.
Wait, so you fucked your friend's girl?
That was a piece of shit.
Alright, so there you have, again, the audio footage of Charlamagne the God describing what appears to be a date rape scenario in which he orchestrated and participated in some time ago in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, with a young lady who he supplied alcohol, Spanish fly, and proceeded to have sex with her while she was wasted, in Charlamagne's words. Recently, I've been listening to a channel by a brother named The Lead Attorney. He chimed in on the Kwame Brown, Charlamagne the God situation. Would like to know what he might think about this audio and how it might be able to be used in a court of law if this investigation was to ever be reopened, or if this particular investigation was to be opened in any way. Would Charlamagne have damned his own self with his own words, being so cavalier in describing that date rape situation? So again, if there's any attorneys listening in, I'd be interested. Please drop down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. One other thing I wanted to comment on today was on yesterday. I noticed the back and forth between Dr. Boyce Watkins and Kwame Brown. I was really surprised that Dr. Boyce Watkins actually chimed in the manner in which he did. He usually remains above the fray, offers critiques and criticisms, usually in a most benign way, non-offensive. But his comments really didn't go over that well. As I checked on the video and I saw the like to dislike ratio, I'm not sure what it's looking like today, but the dislikes were very high. They were almost equal to the likes on the video. And again, the content of the video was basically Dr. Boyce, while on one hand seeming to support the brother Kwame, or at least applaud his actions and standing up for himself. This whole debacle back and forth with Stephen Jackson, Matt Barnes, Stephen A. Smith, Charlamagne the God. But there were some things that Dr. Boyce stated in which he framed, or he laid out some ideas on how Kwame Brown may be able to be silenced by the machine. Many people in the comments didn't receive his so-called advice very well, because it seemed like as if it was advice, but it was actually kind of couched in a subliminal attack, an underhanded attack. Kwame Brown did not take lightly to his comments, and he also proceeded to address Dr. Boyce Watkins almost immediately after that video began to surface on YouTube. And one of the things that Dr. Boyce Watkins stated, because, you know, it just kind of struck me as odd that he would outline in ways in which Kwame Brown might be silenced by the machine. And while I'm sure, you know, he really didn't bring any new ideas to the table. These are things that are common sense. These are things that people, probably Kwame may have considered and probably acted on to rectify any missteps he may have been taking up until that point. So I was wondering, you know, if this was something that Boyce wanted to actually get across to the brother, he could have reached out to him. I know Dr. Boyce, very popular on social media, very wide following, very well known on the internet. So I believe it would have been pretty easy for him to get a hold of Kwame to get a little message to him. But anyway, apparently Dr. Boyce Watkins wanted some of Mama's cooking, and Kwame proceeded to serve him up with a hot dish really quickly. But it did strike me as odd that Dr. Boyce did mention Charlamagne, but he didn't mention the issue of the sexual assault against the young lady, Jessica Reed. He pretty much stuck to how to silence Kwame, and on the other hand, why he is so appreciative of Charlamagne the God. I know Dr. Boyce has been on the Breakfast Club once or twice, and I also know from his words and just from being familiar with him that he was instrumental in getting Dr. Claude Anderson as a guest on the Breakfast Club several times over the last year or two. So he basically says that he's not going to go against Charlamagne because Charlamagne is beneficial to him. But at the same time, he outlines some ways in which Kwame might be shut down, but he didn't offer any suggestions on how we might be able to get Charlamagne shut down. And Charlamagne is somebody that a lot of people want to see silenced. His usefulness to the black community is questionable. He flips and flops according to who he's talking to, who his guests are, what his personal preferences might be. Always seem to seep through. It's never just 100% benevolence with Charlamagne. So yeah, there's a lot of people who want to see him silenced because he chooses a lot of times to be mean-spirited and messy just for the sake of shock value, highlighting and blowing up very small or minor mistakes that everybody makes, and using that to build a platform around in which segments such as Donkey of the Day pick someone to lambast every morning, for whatever mistake or mishap they may have been involved in. So yeah, that was just my criticism for Dr. Boyce. What would be your suggestion for those who would like to get Charlamagne silenced? What are the steps that we should take? So yeah, because if we remember last summer when the documentary surfaced, or when the documentary dropped that was called Storm Over Brooklyn, which documented the Yusef Hawkins case, which the young man was killed by a mob of angry white boys in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, chased him, and he was eventually shot. There was a young man named Pasquale Raucci, professionally known as Patty Duke, who was involved in the Yusef Hawkins situation. He actually was able to get a great plea deal in which he avoided prison time. But what happened was eventually he got a job working at Hot 97, for the parent company initially, eventually for the station. And he actually remained employed with Hot 97 for over 20 years, made acquaintances with all of the personalities such as Ed Lover, Ebro, Angie Martinez, Funk Flex, I'm sure. Also made cameos in one of Jay-Z's videos, I believe, Can't Knock the Hustle. So yeah, he was actually pretty well liked, it seemed, but not too many people knew his background and that he was involved in the Yusef Hawkins case. So when that documentary dropped and it was made known, Hot 97 immediately severed ties with Patty Duke. Rightfully so, and we haven't heard anything from him or about him since. So here we are. We have another situation where a popular radio personality was involved in a most heinous situation in which he was able to pretty much evade any jail time, and people are still talking about it, and people want answers, and people want accountability, especially from someone as Charlamagne, who sits in a glass house and throws stones all day. So yeah, if Patty Duke had to go, Charlamagne should have to go as well, and that's pretty much my stance. And with this audio floating around the internet, I don't know how anyone could keep Charlamagne in their employ if they hear something like this, in which he laughed and cavalierly described date rape. And it sounds like it might have been a multiple participant situation, although he denies that his cousin actually had sex with the girl. That's highly doubtful in my case, and the way I see it, it's highly doubtful. So yeah, definitely time to get Charlamagne about the paint. I could go on, but I'm going to leave it with you for now. Get down in the comment section, let me know what you think, whether Charlamagne the God has to go, whether or not these audio recordings could be used against him, and at the very least, make him undesirable in any industry as a face or a voice. So yeah, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button for me if you haven't already. And again, I will see you on the other side. This is Bill Money signing off for Dirty Laundry Media.